Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and in this video I want to share with you the famous 11th game of 1995 Kasparov Anand World Chess Championship match. The first 8 games ended up in a draw. The 9th game Anand won, and in the 10th game Kasparov struck back. So up to this point the players had an equal score, and now without further ado let's get started with this fascinating game. So Anand was playing with white pieces opened up with e4, to which Kasparov responded with his usual Sicilian defense c5, knight f3 d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, and g6. We have the dragon variation. Before this, Kasparov was usually choosing neither variation, but in this game he decided to deliver a surprise and went for the razor-sharp dragon variation. Yeah, definitely this came as a bit of shock to Anand, and after some thought he proceeded with bishop e3, bishop g7, f3, Kasparov castled kingside, queen d2, knight c6, and bishop c4. We have the Yugoslav attack with bishop c4. Other popular alternative is an immediate castling queenside, but this is a completely different line. Black can proceed with d5, go for a pawn sacrifice, and that's also a very sharp line. In our game we have bishop c4, bishop d7, white castled queenside, knight e5, bishop b3, rook c8, and h4. As you know, white's idea in Yugoslav attack is simple. To open up the h-file, it is usually done at the cost of sacrificing a pawn, offer the exchange of dark squared bishops, make black's kingside vulnerable, and announce a checkmate. In theory, everything looks easy, but in practice everything is not so simple. So we have h5 by Kasparov. He's stopping white's advancement on the king side. Meanwhile, we have this prophylactic king b1 move, knight c4, bishop takes c4, rook takes c4. So black forced white to give up his light squared bishop, which was putting a useful pressure on this diagonal and also was safeguarding white king successfully. Knight d2, b5. There we have it, bishop h6. By offering the exchange of dark squared bishops, white wants to weaken black's kingside, and queen a5, a move which was first played in 1967 in a game played between Suren and Sabo. Other alternative is b4, which is more popular, but in our game we have queen a5, bishop takes g7, king takes g7, knight f4, rook c8, and knight c d5. As white failed to bring into life this g4 idea, which could allow him to create attacking chances on the king side, Anand is offering the exchange of queens. After queen takes d2, Kasparov offered a draw, but after thinking for 4 minutes, Anand declined the draw, the first time in the match that an offer has been refused, and we have rook takes d2. Afterward, Kasparov said, "I did the same thing in one of my match games with Anatoly Karpov. He turned down my draw offer too, and then I beat him. Knight takes d5, knight takes d5, king f8 protecting the pawn, rook e1, rook b8. A mysterious rook move. Bishop e6 looks more natural, but we have rook b8, b3, rook c5, knight f4, rook c8, king b2, a5, a3. Yeah, the position looks equal, but the reason that Anand declined the draw offer was that he was dissatisfied of drawing too early when playing with the white pieces. King g7, knight d5, bishop e6, offering the pawn on e7, but white proceeded with b4, which gives black a slight edge. Knight takes e7 is playable, and this is something which leads to quick simplifications. Black can play rook e8, and now if knight d5, then bishop takes d5, and if b4, then a takes b4, and then rook c4. Yeah, this leads to a quick draw. King c1, then f5, rook takes d6, f takes e4, rook e3. Yeah, this is a draw. By the way, rook takes e4 is not really good. This can allow black to activate his rook, and yeah, white can face some problems. That's why it's better to keep the tension, play rook e3, and yeah, there is not much black can do. If rook c4, then white can start giving checks. If here, then again you can even play rook d6. Let's go back, but in our game after bishop e6, we have b4. A takes b4, a takes b4, rook c4, and this is a move with which Kasparov is setting up a very nasty trap. He's inviting white to play knight b6, and believe it or not, but Anand took the bait and made this move, which is losing. I have to tell you that at this point already knight takes e7 is also not good, because after rook c7, knight d5, and the exchange of minor pieces, black can capture on b4 and then on h4. Yeah, suddenly black is getting nice winning chances. That's why instead of playing knight takes e7 or knight b6, it was better to play c3. If bishop takes d5, then rook takes d5. If rook takes c3, then rook e2, and then rook takes b5. But in our game we have knight b6, and the reason for making this move is that Anand missed a very beautiful combination by Kasparov. Here comes rook takes b4, and after king a3, it may seem that black rook is trapped. Yeah, you have to give up the exchange, but instead of playing a rook c4, Kasparov delivered the shocking rook takes c2 move, and this is that powerful blow which Anand missed. By the way, instead of playing king a3, white could prolong his resistance by playing king c1, but even at this point it's difficult to proceed with the white pieces. Suddenly black pieces are getting very active, and with a pawn up and an active position, black can win the game. And instead in our game after rook takes b4 we have king a3, and there we have it rook takes c2, after which Anand immediately resigned. The idea of rook takes c2 is that after rook takes c2, black can play rook b3 check, and then can play rook e3, winning back the rook, and once the dust settles, black has 2 extra pawns, and this is an easy win. That's why in view of this line, after rook takes c2, Anand resigned. Yeah, probably this was a crucial point in the match, and this game spoiled everything. Anand should have accepted the draw offer. Well, in the end, let's also solve a chess puzzle where the task is to find the mating line for white. It's white to move, and I will wait for your answer in the comment section. In the end, feel free to check out the playlist of Kasparov's games, and I will see you in my next video. Take care.